We have some music from Broadway, the Best of Broadway CD. It has 20 tracks featuring original cast recordings from A Chorus Line, Oklahoma, The Sound of Music, West Side Story, and many, many more. And we hope you'll take advantage of that because also at the $75 level, we'll send you the member card. And that gets you 2-for-1 dining at hundreds of restaurants across our viewing area, great restaurants, I might say, and 2-for-1 admission to cultural attractions. I have the card. We use it all the time. It's actually a lot of fun to just try some new restaurants in different places because you have the card. So it's a great benefit of membership and a great value as well. Now, all it takes is $35 to become a member of Iowa Public Television, and when you do that, we'll send you the advanced program guide in the mail once a month. It's a great way to take a look at what's coming up on Iowa Public Television, and we hope that you will take advantage of that and give us a call. 1-800-779-7000 is the number to call. This is your network, Iowa. This is your opportunity to get involved and to make an investment in great programming. If you love Broadway or you're a new fan of Broadway, why not give us a call? If you watch us, why not become a member? Why not call us now? Maybe you've never called before. I'm telling you, it takes a couple of moments, and our volunteers are trained. They are here to take your calls. They will explain the whole process. We've talked about different levels of giving and fulfillment options and all kinds of stuff, but don't let that confuse you or scare you away. It really is very simple, and it's quick, and you will hang up the phone knowing that you have done your part for Iowa. This is your network, Iowa. We are here, and we are growing, and we are strong because of your support over the past several years, many years, in fact. So 1-800-779-7000. We know you're not calling just for the thank you gifts. We know you're calling because it's important to you, because it matters that when you turn on the TV, there's programming there that you and your entire family can watch together, that you can turn your back from the TV, and when a program is on Iowa Public Television, you don't have to worry about what the children in the house might see. So think about the value of that kind of message and that kind of positive message for your family. And give us a call and get involved and let us know that these programs are important, because when you call, we pay attention to how many calls come in during which programs, and we take note of that, and it really does help shape our programming schedule. So we hope you know that we take your calls very seriously, and you are voting with your phone when you call here during our September celebration and during any of our other special events here. Now we're going to shift gears a bit, and we talk about being more here on Iowa Public Television. If you want to be more inspired, then stay tuned, because we are going to bring you a very special program produced by Iowa Public Television, Barbara Sher's Idea Party. And now I'd like to toss it over to our very special guest, Barbara Sher.
Okay. I'm Terry Schell, and we are about to go to an idea party with none other than Barbara Sher.
Hello?
Barbara, what is an idea party?
We're going to shower you with ideas that are going to set every dream you ever had free and get rid of every impossibility that you thought. For example, would you like to have your own business? Would you like to work at home? Would you like to sail around the world? Would you like to travel all the time? Would you like to be a coach? Would you like to speak in front of people? Would you like to work with animals? You know, all these things. And people say, how can I do that? What about money? What about credentials? We're going to take care of that. Then other people say, but I don't even know what I want. We're going to take care of that, too. This is an idea shower. This is a form storm. You've never heard anything like this in your life. It's more fun than a bucket of ants. Don't go away.
Well, I like the idea of making a change in your life that starts with throwing a party.
Yes.
Well, Barbara's going to stay here with us, because another idea we're going to have with you throughout the program is how you can support this public television station. Enjoy the idea party with Barbara Sher.
You are one myth and 2 pieces of information away from doing everything you want in the world. Everything. You do not have to change yourself to change your life. Every person you know has information that you need, and I'm going to show you how to get it. You have to do everything you love. Thank you, thank you. I'm back. I'm back. Lock the doors. I have something to do here. Okay. I found out that in spite of my last workshop and my last show and my last book, that there were still people on this planet who did not know what they loved and weren't doing it. Be afraid. Okay? Because I'm obsessive about this one, you know, and resistance is futile. No one can hear your screams. You understand? For some reason, every year it gets stronger and stronger. I know that everyone is incredibly gifted and talented. For some reason, the rest of the world doesn't seem to know it quite as much as I do. And I know that if you do what you love, you will be doing what you are gifted at. There's so many people walking around who say, you know, I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what I want. You know, I don't know where I am. I mean, anybody in here ever hear anybody say anything like that? Yeah. Well, if you're stuck and you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing, I have the answer. I have the answer. I can tell you in a few seconds. Here's the answer. Do what you love. Okay, don't hit me. Because I know, I can read your mind. I know exactly what you're saying. You're saying, nice talk, yeah, do what you love. Number one, you know, how is I going to pay the rent exactly? And number two, it isn't like I don't have anything else to do. I'm a little busy. Number three, I'm too old. Number four, what about those credentials? I can't exactly go back to school and get a PhD. Anybody thinking anything like that? Yeah, I've heard it all before, and I'll tell you something really, really funny. Well, all that seems to make such sense. It makes such sense that I have never said, can you think of any reason you shouldn't do what you love, and not heard the answer, how am I going to pay the rent? I can't just quit my job and do these things. Where am I going to get the credential? Everybody, it makes sense, doesn't it? It sounds like you're just being realistic. And what you don't realize is there's nothing realistic about that. It sounds good on paper, but it isn't true. And the slightest examination is going to make those cave in like nothing in the world. I call them myths and assumptions. And they are dream smashers like absolutely nothing in the world. They destroy dreams before they even get a chance to lay down a memory track. You see somebody tap dancing, you think, I used to like tap dancing, oh, I'm too old. It doesn't even get a chance to get in there where you might dream it. You know, no chance, right? How many of you would say, how many of you in this room are doing exactly what you love in your lives? That's the usual four, okay. How many of you know what you would like to be doing, but it seems impossible? That's the usual 23, absolutely. How many of you want too many things and you just can't choose? That's the usual 35. And how many of you just don't have a clue? That's the usual 120. Okay. Now, let me talk about that. First of all, those of you who are doing what you love, I'm thrilled you came to see me. You must think I have a good personality because you got what you want, but that's okay. There's always more. I mean, those of you who do have what you want, do you ever get this thought, gee, I'd kind of love to, I don't know what, something's missing, but you know what? My life is so good right now. I'm not going to, I'm not going to complain. I should count my blessings. Anybody think that way? It's good. It's, I'm happy, and I shouldn't want anything else. Okay? Okay. I don't ever want to hear that you count your blessings again. Don't anybody ever count your blessings. What on earth is that all about? Do you think when you're happy and having fun, you stop and go, oh wait, let me count this blessing? You don't. When you're happy, you don't count anything. You don't make a list of what's wrong is something's missing. And the myth you're taken by, the one that's kind of wrecking your thinking, is, well, I wouldn't want to give all this up, and anyway, I don't know what's missing. Who said you had to give anything up? If something's missing, it's missing. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with what you've got. It's missing. Go get it. Who said you had to swap? That's like a children's fairy tale. You can either have your left leg or you'll lose your right eye. Which one did you? None of the above? Does none of the above count? So if you're someone who feels your life is good and it could, something's missing, that means something's missing. Hang on to what you've got and we'll go looking for what's missing. Because that means, see, everybody is so multi-talented. You got so much talent in you and you are such an original that there's a chance that there's something else you should be doing and it's knocking on the door and you don't know what it is. But I don't believe in giving up anything to do anything. Like those of you who think, well, I can't just quit my job and do so-and-so. Anybody think that way? You know, that makes sense until you think for 1 second about it. Think about it. Do you go shopping for new outfits in a new season, stark naked? Because you burned all your clothes before you left the house? I mean, do you burn all your clothes and say, none of these, okay, and so I'm glad it's summer, I'd catch my death, right? You wear your old clothes to get your new clothes. You get your new clothes, you come home, you like them, you get rid of your old clothes. That's what you do with everything. So no, you don't quit your job to do what you love. You keep your job and you do what you love a little, and then if you like it, you do it more. And then if it earns money, you dump your job. That's how it's done, you know. It's like you see ice, you see ice, you put your foot there. It looks hard, you put one foot on it only. You keep the other one on the land. Unless you just like getting wet in the winter. Okay? All right, now think about that. Okay, now, there were a number of you who said, I want too many things. I got to get rid of you right fast. Okay, because you're not, there are a lot of people like that. I can't choose. I want so many things I can't choose. Have you ever heard that or thought that? Yeah. Who said you were supposed to choose? You have to do everything you love. To say, oh, which of the things I want to do should I do, is like saying, which of my children shall I feed this week? You know, you got one lamb chop and 10 children, they're all going to get a really small piece of lamb chop, but they're all going to get it. You have to do everything. Well, how can you do everything? Well, I had a woman in a workshop recently. She said, I want to do too many things. I said, oh, give me a list. She said, well, I want to dance and swim and write poetry and do public speaking. I said, great, what's the problem? She said, well, I'd like to know which one, you know, would make money. I said, public speaking, period. She said, oh, that'll make more money than dancing, swimming, and singing? I said, that's the only one that will make any money. But it will make good money, and it doesn't use up a lot of time, and you can do all the rest on your own time. Somebody else said, well, you know, I want to learn Chinese, and I want to travel the world, and I want to, you know, take a trip around the country on a bicycle, and I always wanted to learn how to take pictures. What's the problem? Well, you can't do all those things. Why not? Well, I mean, you have to pick a career. Those aren't careers. Those are things people do, right? Those are things people do. You want to take a bike trip? Take one. I know a lot of people take bike trips. They have jobs, right? You want to travel? Travel. How many of you think, oh, I'd like to travel, but I have no money? Yeah, how can you travel without money, for heaven's sake? Well, kind of easily, actually. I know a woman who runs up her credit cards. She pays her kids' tuition and her taxes and her rent on her credit card. She pays it off every month, and she racks up a huge number of frequent flyer miles, and she goes everywhere. She traveled to Bali and back about a month ago on 50,000 miles. That was about a third of what she had. I know people who teach English all over the world without a degree, without ESL. It's not very hard to travel, really, it really isn't. But people, I mean, it seemed obvious, didn't it? Got to quit your job, can't quit your job, got to have money. I got to tell you a story, and you'll see here's why I'm here today, because everybody thinks they don't know what they want. I mean, the people who want too much, okay, now you think about this, because the people who say, I know what I want, but it's impossible, and the people who say, I haven't got a clue what I want, are the same people. The truth is, everybody knows what they want, at least one thing, usually 7, everybody. And if you think you don't know what you want, that's because it seems impossible. So I got to tell you this story, because this is when I realized I was going to have to do another show. I was in San Francisco airport recently, and a little restaurant there, and a woman came up to me, the waitress, and she said, oh, you're Barbara Sher. This was a big mistake. If you say hello to me in public, I say hello just like a normal person. But if you say, oh, I know who you are, then I'm all over you like a cheap suit. She said, I said, oh, you know who I am? She said, yeah, I've read your books. I guess I should do what's in them, right? I said, yeah, nobody else does. And then I said what I always say when somebody's dumb enough to say hello to me that way. I said, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And she said, I have no idea. I said, yeah, everybody says that, but you do. You sure you have no idea? She said, absolutely. I said, okay, it's the money thing. So I said, well, look, if you had like so much money you couldn't spend it if you tried, and you were living off the interest, okay? And your only problem was how do you entertain yourself with so much free time and all that money? What would you do? Because I thought I had her, right? She said, I don't know. I said, come on, what, do you like athletics? Do you like being creative? Do you like performing? Do you like books? She said, I love books. Now, you think I would be very happy and proud of myself. I was miserable. I thought, good God, she had no idea what she wanted. What if I hadn't said the right word? What if I'd said dogs instead of books? And then she walked away, and then she kept waiting on tables. Soon she became a drinker. She died alone. In a single-room occupancy. Her gifts went to her death with her. I would fry in hell for that. I know it. I know. So I sat there thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to get people to think of like the key word without me like in their face? You know, I'm busy. You know, I figure I've only gotten to a couple 100,000 people. You know, I'm getting on. You know. So I was very worried about it, and I said to her, "What kind of books do you like?" She said, it isn't the kind of books. I love to turn people on to books. And her face lit up. Well, see, that look, that's scientific data. I knew I was looking at DNA. Because when somebody, you aren't going to hear, you know, you aren't going to hear your dad say this, or your Uncle George, or the head of a CE, you know, head of a big company. But this is the truth, and everybody's finally, I've been saying it 25 years, everybody's finally coming around, okay? The truth is that what you love shows what you're made up of. It shows your DNA. Horses really get a big kick out of running. You know, they do it when they don't have to. Birds fly when they don't have to. They just like to fool around, you know? I mean, horses can swim and birds can walk, but they don't do it for fun, right? Well, when you love something, that's the instructions you came with. You know, that's the instructions. And we don't know what your DNA is. We don't know how to map that. But if your eyes light up, we found it. That's your ID. You know, you cannot love something you're not gifted at. It is impossible. I'll have some stories that will prove it to you. When she lit up like that, I thought, you know, I'm not a frivolous person. You know, I'm not somebody who goes, just, you know, feel good and be peaceful in the universe. Anyway, so I said to her, why didn't you tell me? She said, what? I said, why didn't you tell me you love books? And this woman walked, I mean, you love to turn people onto books. And a friend of hers walked up who might have worked there too. She actually had a book under her arm, and she said, she's incredible. I wouldn't have read this book. She turned me on to it. You know, in the beginning, I wouldn't have read it. And she got me through, and I'm crazy about it. And I said, how come you didn't tell me that? And she said, well, I can't just quit my job and do that. You can't make money at that. And I said, what makes you think you can't make money at it? She said, well, she said, you know, you ought to get out more, Barbara. There's something wrong with you. I said, with a talent like that, you could walk into bookstores. Any big bookstore would let you have a special day where you featured a book and you turned people onto a book and they would buy the book. You'd be making money for the bookstore. They might like that. She went, oh, that's true. I said, do you know that a lot of authors don't like to get up in front of a camera like me? They're usually fiction writers, and they're people who kind of like to be by themselves. Or they're not performers. Do you know what would happen if you traveled with an author or for an author, and you went on and said, you got to read this book? She said, you know, I never heard of that profession. I said, it doesn't exist. What you have to do is write your own job description and then create a profession around it. It should exist. I said, are you aware of the fact that you could be a public speaker in front of parents and teachers? You know how many kids don't read anymore? She said, well, yeah, I do, my grandkids. I said, do you have any friends who are school teachers? She said, 2. I said, how would they feel about you going to visit their class and turning the kids onto some book? She went, they'd love it. I said, and what if there were only 3 kids? The rest of them weren't listening, they were throwing spitballs. But there were 3 kids in that class who looked at you with those eyes like practically ready to cry because you had hit the level of their brains. What do you think of that? 3 people in that class. You think that would make a difference? She went, oh my God, yes, that would be enough. I said, do you realize what you can do with that skill? And she went, oh my God. And I said, do you realize that if you promote books, that you can have what's called an affiliate program? She went, really? I said, it's called making money while you sleep. How does it sound? She went, I better quit my job. I said, don't you dare quit your I said, don't you dare quit your job. I said, you know, what you've got to do is start small and start right away. Because if that look in your eyes is real, there's a gift in there, and you're going to catch fire, and you're going to think of things I never would have thought of. Now, are you beginning to see the kind of myths that kill dreams? This woman thought, number one, I can't quit my job. Number two, I don't have the credentials. Number three, there is no such job. Look in the want ads and find the job I just described. There is no such job, right? Those are three myths that destroy dreams left and right. And all of you are so unusual that it isn't easy to figure out what you should be doing. We've been trained to look in the want ads and see if we can fit into that stuff. You don't fit there. But you got to earn a living. I didn't say you don't have to earn a living. Earn a living. How? I don't know. How do you earn one now? Anyway, the key thing is, don't work 90 hours a week, because that won't let you do anything else. And don't work at a toxic job where you have to come home every night and like get drunk just to get over it. You know, where the people torture you or the work is evil. You can't have that job. It's better to just go work in a pizza parlor somewhere as long as they have benefits. You know, it's like, you know, don't do that. But I guess the thing I want you to know is that if you're feeling stuck, you are so close. If you were like in a war-torn country, or you didn't have a chance, or there was no opportunity, if you're in the Soviet Union back in the 50s, right? I'd say, you know what, this is going to be too big a job, there's nothing I can do. There's no opportunity here. But the truth of the matter is that you are one myth and two pieces of information away from doing everything you want in the world, everything. And making money at it if you want to. You might not want to. It's nice not to make money at what you love. It really is. Because then you can do it your way. You've got to stop assuming that you know what doesn't work. I had a workshop recently, and at the end of the workshops, I always say, does anybody have, an impossible dream? And one woman raised her hand. She had tears in her eyes, and she said, I want to work with animals, specifically apes. I love that, and I can't go back to school, and I can't get a PhD. And this was, just tears in her eyes. And I said, because this is what I do, I said, does anybody have any ideas? This woman leapt to her feet. She said, wait a minute. She said, I work for zoos all over this country, and I want to tell you something about primates, monkeys, and apes. They're so intelligent that our biggest problem is they're bored to death. We need people to go down there and play with them and talk to them and keep them entertained, or they get depressed. She said, what? She said, yes. She said, how do I do that? She said, you're in this town, call this place, call them and tell them you want to volunteer. I said, you mean she can just go to work and play with like apes right away? She said, well, she's new at it. She might have to start with spider monkeys. We all said, I could work with that. So basically, the key thing that I want you to do, and that I'm going to teach you to do today, is to search and destroy mission on all those myths and all those assumptions you make, those dangerous assumptions that make you automatically kill a dream, like I say before, it can even lay down a memory track. But you don't have to worry. Your dreams can't go away. The things you want to do don't go away any more than your eye color, because they aren't just little wishes. That's your biology. If you love something, that's what you were designed to do. And if you take a look at the mathematics of your gene structure and your personal history and the way you processed it because of your gene structure, you understand that you are completely original. You are unique. You are one of a kind. That's why nobody can tell you what will make you happy. Nobody has any idea. But maybe you don't either. Maybe you're sitting there saying, okay, she's got me. It is smart to do what you love. I think I will. I don't know what that is. Anybody in here do that? That's what our next segment will be. In the next segment, I have come up with a trick. It is so simple and so clever that you will never have trouble with this again. Never. That's a promise. So when I come back, I'm going to teach it to you, okay?
Don't go away. Barbara's just getting warmed up. You can't do what you love until you know what that is. In the next segment, she'll show you how to find out. But first, stay tuned for some ways you can put Barbara and your public television station to work for you throughout the year.
Barbara Sher is here with us, and I felt like you were inside my head during that segment. Those are the very myths and assumptions that keep me stuck. It's amazing.
They do it to everybody. If there's one thing I've noticed through the years, everybody thinks they don't know what they want, and then they think they can't get it too. They do know what they want. It's these myths that keep blocking it and blocking it. I need this money. I have to have these credentials, and people don't get it. I mean, I know a woman who sailed around the world without a nickel. And I know how to show you how to do it. But what you've got to do is, first of all, understand that these myths are stopping you, and you've got a life to live. And, you know, you're tearing off the calendar years. Everybody, I meet people all the time. They just think it's not possible, and that kills me because you are so close to figuring out what you want and to getting it, and it isn't like you think. You just have to do these things we're going to teach you today.
And what's really exciting is that those watching today, this public television station, when you pledge your support, Barbara has put together a collection of tools that will really enhance what we're learning on the program and help people really get to what they want and pursue it.
Oh, I love these. I love these. I've got an idea book that goes with it, an idea book which is like nothing you've ever seen and nothing I've ever written. It's, first of all, destroys all the myths, just in case you forgot, and some more I didn't have a chance to tell you about. But then it goes into one story after another, one idea after another, things you've never thought of in your life. We've got school teachers on the lecture circuit. We've got people who thought they didn't know what they wanted to do becoming children's historians. Have you never heard of a children's historian? Well, there never was one till we showed her how to do it. Then there are people who say they don't know what they want, and I've got a workbook that goes with that, and that is over. I mean, not knowing what you want, that's ended. People who think they don't know what they want, we're taking care of that for once and for all this time. You will know.
And there's also an opportunity to participate in a workshop with Barbara Sher, and I've had the opportunity to be at one of your workshops, and it is everything that you say it is, and it's not any of the things that you say it's not.
These workshops have in them things I cannot do in a book, I can't do on TV, and I can't do in a workbook or a course. I don't like to tell people what's in them, excepting you will learn everything you need to know, you know, hands-on. You'll learn how to do it. But I will tell you what's not in my workshops, okay? There will be no group hugs.
And there weren't.
You will not cry and tell strangers that you love them, all right?
No, but we did a lot of laughing.
Laughing, and we're not going to sing Kumbaya, okay?
That didn't happen.
It isn't that kind of workshop. This is good stuff. This is exciting stuff. I want you there.
And how wonderful for you to have the opportunity to meet Barbara Sher in person. She is exactly as she seems here. We'll tell you more about that opportunity a little bit later on. But right now, we're going to go back to this wonderful Idea Party program and find out more about how to get what we want and find out what that is.
Rescue all those geniuses out there. Okay, we've taught you lesson number 1. Today, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to figure out what you love and to figure out how to get it. Absolutely surefire. No character improvement here. I don't do self-improvement. You do not have to change yourself to change your life. You can stay sleepy, sloppy, obnoxious, hard to get along with. You can dislike yourself. You can think everything's terrible. It doesn't make the slightest bit of difference. If you want to improve yourself, enjoy, go ahead, but it's got nothing to do with what we're talking about today. And if you don't believe me, do you remember those people who you were in school with before an exam? They went, oh my God, I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail. And you went, think positively, you'll do well. And you went in and got a B and they got an A, remember? Whatever you do to get you through the night, irrelevant, okay? Stage a tantrum, do what you want, not important. But the key thing that I wanted you to know is that in that first segment, is that you've got to start respecting what you love. It's not frivolous, there's nothing lightweight about it. You have to respect it, it's utterly serious. It tells you things you need to know. So if somebody goes, yeah, well, that's what you love, my dear, this is the real world, they're illiterate, they just haven't read my books yet. Anyway, I wanted to find out what is some precise way that I can help people figure out what they want. people, if I can talk them into doing what they love, I still have to figure out how they should know what they love. And I came up with it on this teleclass. This woman had a business, and she was like worried because she wasn't afraid her business was, and we were all trying to help her come up with good ideas for how she could make money at her business. She was a little short, her money was short. And we came up with a lot of good ideas. You should do this kind of marketing and this kind of advertising and this kind of this and this kind of that. And she was saying yes, but there's just something in her voice. I wasn't thrilled. And she said, that's great. Yeah, that would work. That's great. Okay, thanks. And I said, so you're going to do this, 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 and this? She said, yeah. And I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, if 10 is utter bliss and 1 is like a nosebleed, what number is this solution we gave you? She said, oh, it's a 5 or 6. I said, not good enough. Back to the drawing board. I said, what's the matter? She said, no, it's okay. I said, what's the matter? I said, what's the matter? Something's wrong. She said, I am so overwhelmed, I can't even do what I have to do now. She said, I have invoices on my desk that I haven't sent out. I haven't typed up the invoice for $120,000. Those people will never pay me because I can't send those damn things out. I don't deserve to have a business. And I went, wow, glad I asked. I said, what makes you think you're supposed to do that yourself? She said, what? I said, what makes you think you're supposed to do that all by yourself? You think the CEO of a big company got there because he was like cleaning the John too? You think he was licking the stamps too? She went, what? I said, don't do that. I said, get somebody to help you. She said, help? Like who? Oh, you can't find anybody, you can't find anybody. Well, everybody said, here's how I did it, here's how I did it. We came up with a million ideas. She went out, she hired an ex-cop who got on the phone and got every nickel back. He didn't even visit anybody. He just said hi. And that's how H levels got started. H stands for happiness. A woman came to me and said, my dream is that I want to have a spa. You know, not a spa, but like a wellness center. And I said, what's your obstacle? She said, money. And I said, yeah, everybody says money. What do you want the money for? She said, well, to build a beautiful buildings in a beautiful location. I said, have you ever run a wellness center or anything like that? She said, well, no. I said, okay, well, let's do these H levels on a scale of 1 to 10. How would you like handling the books in the accounting section? She went, 3. I said, oh, okay, well, how would you like talking to the insurance companies about how much insurance to handle, and talking to the newspapers about how to pay for the advertising, and, you know, where you should do it? And she said, 2. I said, well, maybe you'd like to work on the heating system or putting up the stones or the bricks and hauling that stuff on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are we at? She went, 1. I said, what do you really love about it? She said, well, I always wanted to have a wellness center because I've had such incredible experiences with these incredibly gifted people. You go to their class, they're like in yoga or in something, and when they're through, like, you're full of peace and joy. I said, that's the part you love. You don't need a spa for that. Why don't you become an agent? Why don't you go out and become a talent scout? Go out and find these people and bring them to other spas. All you really want to do is sit in everybody's class, you know it. She said, yeah. I said, and, you know, and be an agent, get 15%. They need the help. You can get them in the spas and they'll get paid. She went, that's a good idea. I said, yes, that's a good idea. And we did it because those H levels were too low. They were simply too low, okay? Now, what if we find something for you and you think, and this has happened to a lot of people, you get very excited and you think, oh my God, like the woman who was going to turn people on to books, you know? So excited. Oh my God, this is so great, right? What's your H level? 10, right? Great, fabulous. When are you going to start? Well, you know, I really have to get all the weeds out of the backyard first. What's your H level now? 7. What's your anxiety level? 12. What happens is, the second you find something that's exciting, the first thing that happens is you get incredibly high. Excitement is wonderful, but here's the truth of the story. Excitement is half joy and half fear. You have resistance inside you. It says, just don't ever do anything new. You might break your neck, not reproduce. We don't like it. Don't do anything new. Or you aren't allowed to have what you want. Who do you think you are? You're not the favorite child. What are you doing making yourself happy? This is a bad thing. You are breaking a rule. You know, somebody's going to hate you. And this isn't even conscious. You just think, right, the anxiety level goes up, the happiness level goes down. Well, here's the good news. The good news is you wouldn't be anxious if you weren't going to do it. Most people, when they get anxious, they crash. Everybody crashes. You're supposed to crash. They don't know that. And they give up. They go, well, I'm just not enthusiastic about it anymore. Maybe I better do this other thing I don't like as much, and then I won't get as nervous, right? They don't say it. But what happens is you are supposed to get high. That's like marking the perimeters, is how far you can go. Then you are supposed to crash, because you'll break your neck if you really go out there right away. You're not ready. And then you will feel like all is lost, you are stupid, life is over. You'll have like a temporary depression, which is like to heal you up from all that excitement and fear. And then you'll come up to the middle place, where you think, it is a good idea, let's see what happens. And that's where all the work gets done anyway. So when you get happy and you find what you want with your H levels, and your anxiety level goes up, your A levels rush up, you're obviously in the right place. But yes, you will crash. Be very kind to yourself. Eat lots of ice cream, drink lots of beer, whine a lot. Explain why you can't do anything. And then when you start feeling a little better, get to work, okay? Get to work. You've got to know about that sort of thing. That's pretty important. The truth is that happiness is very, very important. And to define happiness, right? What's the definition of happiness? There's only one person in the world that knows that. That's you. Your definition isn't like anybody else's. And you have to know what that is. And you can kind of feel that if you use H levels. You can say, well, to me, happiness is this or that, or I don't know, one thing or another. Bliss is something people talk about. I have a problem with that word. Bliss, to me, bliss is somebody who's like, on drugs. Excitement, being totally absorbed. I did get a letter recently from one person. She was on my bulletin board, and she wanted to sing, and she hadn't started, but we all encouraged her, and so she got herself ready, and she got a place, and she went out to sing. She was having all these things. She was having a stroke in advance. She was going to give up. She came back, and she wrote the most wonderful thing on the bulletin board. She said, thank all of you. This is all of yours. Thank you. It was great. It was like, she said, it went like silk. It was like nothing in the world. I was great grooving. She said, it isn't that I did. She said, beforehand, I was thinking, my hair, my clothes, this won't work, that won't work. And I got there, and I realized, she said, I made mistakes and everything, but it didn't matter. I realized it wasn't about my clothes. It wasn't about my hair. It wasn't even about me. It was about the music. She said, it was about being worthy of the music. And I thought, oh, you're home. You're home. Now, mind you, she crashed after that. The second one was harder, but she's coming back again because she's addicted. And like I want you to be, because that's an H level you have a right to be in. If you were doing what you were born to do and designed to do, even if you only did it once in a while, that would be worth it, wouldn't it? You have to pay attention to your H levels, no matter what you want. If you want to sing or dance, create, travel, you know why you have to travel if you want to travel? Because I always ask people who want to travel, I say, where do you want to go? They go, everywhere. So I say, okay, there is no such country. Where do you want to go first? They say, everywhere. I say, okay. Okay, then I say, what do you love about it? And the people who say that, the real travelers, they all say the same thing. And I look at their eyes when they say it. They say, I love different cultures and different people. I just love seeing them. I just love being around them. Well, that's a gift for travel. I say when you do your gifts, you help all of us. If you don't do your gifts, you're selfish and rotten and no damn good. And if you take them off the planet with you, you've cheated us. That's what I say, and I'll say it. I'll give you a hard time. But to what earthly use can a person who loves to travel and just watch people, what good is that? Well, think about it. Maybe she'll write a book, maybe she won't, but think about it. Wouldn't you like somebody from your country to be out there in the world looking at people with love in her eyes and respect and interest? Wouldn't that make people kind of think maybe we were a better place than maybe they sometimes think now? I want gifted travelers to travel. I mean, I'll take up a fund. If you love to travel, you're doing us a lot of good. You come on my bulletin board if you can't figure out how to do it, and we'll show you, right? Get out there. If there's anything you love to do, you have to do it. And sometimes there are things that aren't an activity. I call them categories of happiness. Like some people want variety in their lives. And some people just want to make a difference. It's important that they make a difference. They can't tell you what they want to do, but they make it. This is just as important. You've got to do your H levels on that one. Some people say I have to have beauty around me. Right? That doesn't sound like a goal, does it? Well, it is. I knew a guy named Clark. He's in my newsletter, actually. I found out about him. He has a place called Reading Retreats in rural Italy. I went there. It's a villa. It costs next to nothing. A lot of books. You drink wine in the afternoon. It's great. I said, how'd you get this? He said, I was a poor student, broke, and all I wanted was he said, I lived in a very tough setup, and I just loved beauty. He said, and to me, Italy was beautiful, so I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't have any money, so I took an Italian class. And incidentally, that is incredibly smart. If there's something you love, go hang out with other people who love it. Don't tell your Uncle George, right? And then, if he says something, don't listen. Oh, I told Uncle George, he said Italian's stupid, so I guess I won't do it. It's like, you know, would you ask a dog whether you should invest in Cisco? Anyway, he hung out with these people in the Italian class, and they're all Italian lovers, not just Italian language lovers, and he was reading the Italian newspaper want ads, and he found an ad for, they wanted an American to live with a kid, speak English to the kids, a wealthy family, and he went over to Bologna, and he lived there for about a year. In the meantime, he found this gorgeous villa, and it was given to him free because he wanted to put together music concerts, and he got world-class musicians, and he put this whole thing together. He didn't even pay for it, and he got all the local antique owners to put their furniture in there and put the name of their antique store on it, and when you came there, you slept in these incredible, 17th century metal beds and with angels over you. And, oh. Anyway, he still doesn't have a dime. He's still got the villa after 9 years. So the quality of life, all he started with was beauty. So what I want you to learn how to do with this H levels is I want you to learn how to do idea soup. I want you to learn how to make an idea soup. And I think I'm going to show you that in the next segment. An idea soup is, now that you know, number one, that you must do what you love. That it is important. It is science, right? It's not silliness. I'm not a new age lady. I'm an old age lady, right? Now that you know you've got to do what you love, now that you know that love is the key, it's the only indicator of what you're made of. Now that you have a technique, I want you walking around the world saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do I like that color? Actually, that's a 7. I like that color. Anything that's a 7, write it down. And after a while, it will flash on your mind. Oh my God, I love this. And that's all we need. Well, what are you going to do about it? I mean, now you know what you love, or you can find out how. What are you going to do about it? Big deal, right? There are certain things you need that you can't give yourself. You can sit in a room and figure out what you love, but you cannot sit in a room and find out how to get it. That's information you don't have. You have to get that information from someone else. I'll show you how to do that in the next segment, but just remember this one. Isolation is the dream killer, not your attitude. You can have any attitude in the world. And finding out what you love is your business. But finding out how to get it is our business. We have to help you. We got the information. Every person you know has information that you need, and I'm going to show you how to get it, okay? Okay? Gotcha?
Stick around. This party's getting into a nice groove. Next, Barbara's going to show you how to make your dreams come true. Helping you and your family realize your dreams is what this public television station is all about. Give us a call now and let us know how much you value our service.
Well, if you're like me, your happiness level has increased several notches just by spending a little time with Barbara Sher. And you may be thinking about calling because you want to take advantage of those great tools, but you don't have to call just yet. We want to find out some more about this wonderful package of tools that we would like to thank you with when you invest in public television today that will really take what we're starting to hear from Barbara and help us really put it into practice. And the package is at the $365 level, and it contains some brand new things that I've not heard about before, starting with your new idea book. What's in that, Barbara?
The idea book is like no other book I've ever written. It is packed with the most exciting stuff. We've got people who have learned how to live on their family farm because we've taught them how to do telephone coaching. We have a woman who somebody said her daughter's just reads magazines. We've got her working in trends and making money at it because she knew what was coming. We've got a volunteer who, a guy who loves to travel in an RV going to campgrounds. He said, how am I ever going to do anything worthwhile? He's teaching kids in campgrounds. That's what the idea book is. It's like loaded with ideas and myth busters that'll set your dreams free. It's a wonderful book. I love that book.
But part of it also is finding out what that dream is, and you've got to discover your dream workbook and CD in this package.
I do. If you get the video, which is, we've got a DVD there, but if you get this workbook, we've got the idea book, which you're looking at right now, and that's the book that has all the Mythbusters in it, all the fantastic ideas. I'm going to show you how to do something I'm not even going to tell you about till the next segment, and then the utter secret to success. But if you see, it says Barbara Sher's Discover Your Dream Workbook. That is a course, and that is a course with a CD. It has 44 tracks, and I walk you through the best exercises I have ever done in any of my books. The best ones that'll catch you. Even if you think you cannot figure out what you want, boy, they come at you left, right. I've got you surrounded. And you can hear my voice saying, open to page 3, and then I explain, and then, I mean, people really love it. I've got coaches and career counselors banging down the doors for this material. They can't have it. Only you can have it, because this is for public television, because I believe in public television. That's what it's for. So you can save your life, and you can save public television, too, by getting these 2 things. And then, of course, there are 2 more things.
And that's one of the great parts about this package, is an opportunity to get 2 tickets to actually experience a workshop with Barbara Sher. And I think the tools in this particular package will help really get someone ready for that workshop, won't they?
They will. If you get, if you work your way through the workbook, if you get the video that you're looking at right now, incidentally, there's a group of people who wrote us that they're getting together, they're all meeting in order to watch this show, and other people said, we missed the show, but we got the video, and so we're going to all get together, and we're going to have our own idea party, because we're going to invite everyone over to watch this video that you're watching right now, which will show you how to do it. So you've got the book, you've got the workbook course with the audio, you've got the 2 tickets to a workshop that's not like anything you've ever seen before, and it's wonderful, and you've got this marvelous video, which I hope you're enjoying. And let me tell you something, if you haven't changed channels, you're enjoying it, and if you haven't changed channels, you belong here with us, here at public television, where people care about what they do, they care about what you do with your life. There isn't another medium that will allow me to stand up here for an hour and tell you how to get a great life instead of just like watching those years go by. You have gifts and talents inside of you. If you don't use them, it's a crime, and you won't be happy, and you will be cheating us, because we need you to go after your dreams. You'll be doing us all a favor. So if you help this wonderful public television, which helps you, I always say, put your money where your mind is, and I also say, support those who support you. And that's, public TV is the only place that does that. If you do that, you will be rewarded by having an exciting life, doing things you thought were impossible, finding dreams you thought you didn't have anymore, and doing them without money. We can show you how to start a business and make money without having to get a $50,000 investment or a business plan. Excuse me, that's not my kind of business. Like, what if you lose that money? I have much better ideas. We've pulled in some tools you've never seen before, and they are, as I say, more fun than a bucket of ants, okay? This is all new. You don't want to miss it, and you don't want to miss my workshop. That, I will say this very quickly. I know what I'm doing. I'm not getting any younger, and you better be there. You'd be really unwise to miss it. You'd be so sorry. You know, you were there.
And I have been at one of Barbara's workshops, and like the video, you don't want to miss a thing she says. You don't want to miss the workshop either. But right now, we're going to go back to the program and learn more about the idea party with Barbara Sher.
Wow, you guys. We're in segment 3. I have, I'm working on you today. You know my goal. My goal is that everybody in this room takes what they love very seriously, that you don't let the myths stop you. I tried to blow holes in money, age, credentials, etc. And I've also shown you how to find what you love if you don't know. You have to start developing a sensitivity to the things you love by using H levels on anything. And after a while, it has a very, very profound effect on you. I mean, when you start saying vanilla, oh no, that's a 4, here's a chocolate 9. I know it looks stupid, but what it does is it gives you a sense of that you have the right to do what you want. It's very odd. It doesn't try to do that, but that's what happens after you say, you do it with certain things anyway. You say, I don't like the color of that blouse. I'd rather it was a little more green. And you do it. You get it precise with certain things. Everybody does. You often get it precise with, like, I don't know if I feel like Italian dinner tonight. I think I like Chinese. We take our stands on those things. But we tend to just keep our mouths shut about the really important stuff, and we don't remember it. So those H levels will start making you aware, sensitive, even to silly things, but that's all right. It's like, what do I think? You now have the right. Now that you know that love is about DNA, not about being spoiled, right? And silly, okay? Now that you know that. So we've got that. We've got everything for you. And now I want to tell you how to do what I call idea soup. It's my favorite thing. There are a bunch of ingredients because my goal is to teach you to do everything that I so cleverly do automatically, because that's my talent. And the reason I want you all to know it is so that you'll go after what you love, and I'll get a vacation. Okay, so idea soup is fun. There are 5 ingredients to idea soup. Idea soup will do everything, and most of them you can do yourself, and the one you can't is what we're going to talk about in this segment. Idea soup has as ingredient number 1, you figure out what you love. You say, I love something. I had a young woman, she said, I want to be in the movies. I said, okay. What do you love about that most? She said, well, I don't know, I just love movies. I said, do you love being on camera? She said, well, I don't know. I said, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you feel a camera in your face having to do something 8 times like you meant it? She said, oh, I don't think I'd like that. I said, well, how would you like pushing a camera around, or how would you like editing film? She said, I don't like any of that. I said, right, so what do you love most about it? She said, I just love movies. I love movies. I just love them. I'm nutty about them. And I said, do you want to take a class? She said, no, that's my avoid. I do not want to just be another student. I want to do more, and I just don't know quite what it is. I said, would you like to write criticisms of movies? Would you like to run a film festival? And she said, oh yeah, I can't do that. I said, I didn't ask you if you thought you could do it. That's my problem. What I want to ask you is, do you love that idea? She said, yes, I'd love to get the films I like the best and show them together in a new way and then talk about them afterwards, where I'm the one who helps people, but I don't have the credentials. And I said, sure you do. You love them. You see things nobody else sees. She said, yeah, but who would come and what school? I said, no school. No school will let you do that. No. You do it in your living room, and you just send out emails to all your friends and bring them over and say, we're having 3 films, and see if you can guess why I used all 3, and then afterwards you talk to them about what you saw, because I have a son who's like that. He'll show you something like 7 Samurai, and he'll go, remember that scene where the guy says this and they smile? That's the best moment in the film. I go, I love that movie. I don't remember that. And he goes back and he gives you things you wouldn't have had. It's like he puts like a gift in your hand. And I said, are you like that? She said, people say that I do that too. I said, that's your gift. So why don't you do that? And then I said, why don't you write reviews? She said, oh, no newspaper would take it. I said, right, no newspaper would take it. But if you put up a web log, which is like a diary on the internet and usually free, and you write about the movie and you say what you think it is, people will come. Do you know there are a lot of people doing that? And do you know that people go and check them out and they've developed a reputation because they each have a special kind of taste? And she said, wow, that's idea soup. She got every part of that by herself except what I call the form, where she's going to be a critic and she can do it on the internet, and where she's going to have film festivals in her living room. She wouldn't have thought of that. I happen to know somebody who did it, so I did think of it, okay? So Idea soup is great, and it will really help you figure out what you love most about it, so you don't make any mistakes, what you want to avoid. Because understand, nobody knows you. It's got to fit you. You don't have to fit it. It's got to fit you. And then what resources you have going for you that apply. And then, how do you get that idea at the end? Where do those good ideas come from? Or what if you have an assumption like she did? And you say, well, no school will hire me to, run a film class. No newspaper will take my film critic stuff. She was right, but I knew about the other ways it was done, and she didn't. How are you going to get that? You can only get that from other people. So in this segment, what I'm going to teach you about is what I call idea parties. They come in many shapes. They're great. At the end of every workshop, I do one. And I started noticing what was happening when I first did this. I'll tell you some stories. You're going to like these stories. I think I'll tell you the story that's going to sell you 100%. What I do at the end of a workshop is I say, does anybody have an impossible dream? And when they stand up and tell their impossible dream, I don't answer it. I usually say, does anybody have any ideas? Because I want to show them who's available, who's in the audience. The first time I did this, I was in Greenville, North Carolina, and I was doing a workshop for a hospital, actually. They invited the community in. It was some kind of Woman's Day thing, so it was mostly women in the audience. And I said, who's got an impossible dream? And this woman stood up. I said, what's your dream? She said, I want to dance with Patrick Swayze. So I heard some quiet voice say, yeah, you and every other woman who ever lived. And I was about to say, okay, what's the obstacle? Because I always say break it into a wish and an obstacle. I was about to say something when a woman 2 seats away started waving her hand, stood up waving her hand. I said, what? She said, Patrick Swayze's mother has a resort 30 miles from here. I work there on the weekends. I have danced with Patrick Swayze. He's coming on Wednesday. You can come with me. It happens every single time I do a workshop. It never fails. I never know what's going to happen. I go for the most impossible dream. I ask the room what's going to happen. I had one woman, very odd-looking little woman in New York. She raised her hand. She said, I need a chimp. It's a chimpanzee. She said, yeah. I said, what's the obstacle? She said, they got too expensive. She said, see, I used to sell gifts in corporations, and I would show up at noon, and I would walk down the hallways with my gift baskets, and I would have this chimp with me, so everybody would run out, and they'd buy my gifts. Well, that chimps used to cost $100, and in a given day, I make $200 or $300. She said, well, now they're $600. I can't do it anymore. I'm out of business. I said, oh, does anybody, and someone raised their hand in the back and said, I think we can get you one for cheaper than that. What? She said, I said, we're talking about chimpanzees. She said, I know, I rent them. It happens over and over and over again. So I started thinking, this is so cool. This is the solution. This is where we're going to find everything. People don't have to sit in some town somewhere with this gift and not know anybody who knows anything about it. I can figure out a way, even, first if they come to my workshops, I've got them. Okay, they understand. But there have got to be other ways. And I started inventing all the ways you can have an idea party. First is invite 10 people to your house. Here's how you do that. You find 3 friends who aren't negative. Who go? Not the kind who go, I don't know, you can't really do that. Well, there's so much already. Well, what about those other stuff you tried to do? You never finished. Invite 3 kind of perky friends and say, I'm going to have an idea party. Invite 2 or 3 people you know who aren't enraged, depressed, or hateful in any way. And bring food. It's potluck. This is utterly essential. Utterly essential. I'll tell you why. I don't want any of this competitive cooking. You clean your house, you have your strawberry torts that took you a week to make. No, none of that. Not just because I'm sort of against that in principle, but because there's a very good reason for it. Here's what you do. You say a potluck, it doesn't matter what people bring. Everybody can bring the same thing. But you invite these people, hopefully 10 or 12 people, and the first person who comes to the door, you answer the door and you go, oh, listen, I'm on a long distance call from South America. Would you let the other people in? And you disappear for a half hour. Totally. And you let them answer the door. They meet each other. They have to go in your kitchen to put the food out. They start looking at your pots and pans, and they're already, not only is that an icebreaker, but they're in problem-solving mode by the time you come out. You come out and you apologize, and you say, oh, everybody, I'm so sorry. Okay, let's have our idea party. Now, if you invite somebody to an idea party, they always say yes. No one knows what an idea party is. They don't care. They want to come. You would. If I said, will you come to an idea party, you'd go, yeah, what the hell? Okay. And then you sit down and you say the magic sentence. This sentence is a magical sentence. And you say, I always wanted to sail around the world, but I just don't have the time or the money. If you say that, here's my wish and here's my obstacle, and you just be quiet, somebody will have to come up with an answer or they'll die. They can't stand it. You give them a wish and an obstacle. We are problem-solving animals. We can't stand that. And they will come up with an answer. So if you had said, I'd like to sail around the world, don't have any money, somebody would say, if you were in an idea party, what are your resources? What do you got going? And if you say, nothing much, I'm a sort of a chef, and I also am a photographer. Well, I'm not a very good photographer. I know some pop tunes, right? And somebody will say, which happened, somebody will say, I know somebody who walked up, who was a chef, and went down to sailboats on the dock and hung around until she saw somebody who was going somewhere she wanted to go and said, do you need a chef on your crew? And she would get on and she would sail all around the world, get off, and say goodbye, and then she would hang out there for a while. So, there are ways. Everybody you know knows things you can use. But then we get to the internet. If you're still one of those people who thinks the internet is a kind of a cold place, oh, my friends, it's the warmest. It has warmed up the planet. If you're someone who likes gecko lizards and everybody else thinks you are just a creep, and you go on the internet, you will find everybody on the planet who loves gecko lizards, and they will be your friends. I'm interested a little bit in the Silk Road. It's an ancient trade route from China right through to Istanbul. I signed up, said, do you want to be on our mailing list? I thought I would get some newsletters in the mail, so I signed up. And I found out this was not a mailing list. This was what's called a listserv. And what happened was somebody would ask, there are about 2,000 or 3,000 people on this list. And someone would ask a question, like, I would like to come over the Kunjarab Pass in October, but I don't know if it's open, right? That's a pass on the road. And it would come into my mailbox. And then about a few hours later, I would see an answer, which would also, you can't get through the Kunjarab Pass in October, why don't you try the Torah route? And I think, geez, this is a good place to get a question. So answered, so I wrote, I always wanted to kind of go to Mongolia, like Ulaanbaatar, but I don't like to be a tourist. I'd like to know somebody. And within a day or two, I got 3 personal invitations, and these people did not know my books. They did not know my name. They just said, why don't you come here? I'll be gone for the month of May. You can have my place, or and someone else said, you can stay with me. I'd love to show somebody. It's really great, blah, blah, blah. This is a listserv. But your people are out there. There are people who love what you love. There are people who want to answer your question. There's something else called news groups. There are like so many of them, it's a little confusing how to use them, but you just ask anybody and they'll tell you how to get on. And what they are is just discussion groups on every subject in the world. If you write down Yorkies, or you write down feet. I mean, any damn thing you write down. There, in the middle of the night when you think you're alone, the whole wide world is fast asleep, there's somebody in Japan or Australia or Kyrgyzstan or South America or Rio who wants to talk to you. No, not a bunch of weirdos like they're trying to protect you from. People who like what you like. So if you feel misunderstood and like the things you love the best, everybody doesn't know what they are and everybody doesn't like them, that makes you a normal human being, a normal, original human being. The people you love and associate with aren't necessarily built like you. You've got to find your people. That's an idea party. Now, I have a 90-year-old mother. I got her computer last year. My 90-year-old mother is on that computer. She gets emails, and she does something called instant messaging. I can't explain it. All I know is it's in real time and you type something and then people answer you. Well, 3 weeks ago, my mother was on instant messaging having a chat with one of my sons who was in Bali, with another son who lives in Athens, and his wife's about to have a baby, so they were talking about that, and with me in New York City and my mom in LA. And we were popping it back and forth. And I said, Mom, I'm going to talk about you on the show. You know, because people say they can't do this, and you're doing it. I mean, my brother upstairs emails her instant messages or something. Hi, I see you're on. Yeah, what are you having for dinner? I mean, it's just constant company, right? She said, okay, you can. Tell him I drive, too. She said, tell him I still smoke. I said, I don't know if I should. She said, just do it. I said, okay. She's about that high, but you just don't want to mess with my mother. There is no way that you can't find your people, and you have to find your people or your dream will die. That's where you get the ideas. Did you know, if you wanted to be a public speaker, I found out that there's a speaker's mart. You know what a merchandise mart is? I never heard of them, but some people know what they are. I found out when I worked for a very big insurance company. She said, yeah, I've got to run to Chicago to the speaker's mart. I said, what's that? She said, speakers get up and talk for 5 minutes, and then you hire them for your big insurance company to come do motivational speaking. I said, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Did you know that you can coach anything? I know a guy who's an actor. He does something else for a living, and he was a good actor, but he just wouldn't get up and perform. He had performance anxiety. He got a coach for performance anxiety. And they talk on the phone, and you can be a coach. You can be a coach if you work at home. And now he's performing. Talked him right through it. You can work at home by, if you want to work at home, you can bring kids in and take care of kids, or you can bring dogs in. I know a woman who has an aviary sanctuary in her basement. She was on my web radio show. Yes, you can have a web radio show. You can have one for free. She was on my web radio show. I interviewed her to get her, some funding. And she just collects birds. Parrots are great. She said, I'm kind of a dog person. She said, parrots talk to you. They're so smart. And I heard her voice. I thought, okay, okay. Parrots are in. I hear you, I hear you. She's got an aviary in her basement. She has a rescue place. People who want to do rescue things for animals always get the real estate myth going. I got to have 9,000 acres. Where will I get the money? You don't always need 9,000 acres. So here's what you do when people give you an idea and it isn't a good one, because this can happen. Or you think it isn't a good one. Let me explain. If you're in an idea party and you say, I have a wish and an obstacle, somebody's going to give you an idea, and whether it's good or not, you're going to become obnoxious. It's just the way we are. You're going to get neurotic. I can't do that. I did that last year. It didn't work. I mean, even the politest, kindest, most gentle person just turns into this mean, because you get scared and you think they're going to make you do it, right? Well, nobody can make you do anything, and you've got to learn how to listen. So what you have to do is every time you get an idea, you have to do this very special thing. You have to find something you love about it, or like about it, even if it's a terrible idea. And then you have to deal with the bad part second. How do we fix it? I'll explain. When I first started my little business many years ago, I said to a group of people, I need to get some advertising, and I don't have the money for advertising, and I've got this thing here, but nobody knows where I am, and I don't know how to get customers. And I said, give me your craziest ideas. And one of them that they came up with was, why don't you rent an airplane? I said, I don't have any money. I said, why don't you rent an airplane with a big long tail that says Barbara Sher's Success Teams, right? Call the TV stations and tell them to be there at 5 o'clock, and then jump out of the plane naked with your hair on fire. And I said, I like the idea of doing something newsworthy and getting the TV stations there. What do we do about the problem of my death? And so we came up with a way to get the TV stations to come to something that I would do without me having to, kill myself. Okay, now, nothing beats knowing what you're doing. There is no attitude that beats it. A positive attitude, feeling worthy, feeling wonderful, loving yourself, that's all very nice. But it doesn't give you the telephone number, the location, or how people do it. It doesn't tell you that. You can't get that from meditating. You can't get that from being one with yourself. You can only get that from other human beings. That's the only place. And an idea party, which comes in so many forms, like I say, in person, on the telephone, on the internet, comes in so many shapes and forms at my workshops. That's what I call a poor man's research staff. They can find anything for you, right? So supposing you get this great list of all these exciting ideas of things that you're going to do, and you go, wow, and your H levels go up, you're happy, and then your A level shoots up, and you start to pass out. And you think, well, maybe, maybe I'll, geez, I just realized I have to be in Dubuque. What's going to keep you going? We've got all the steps here now. I've got you respecting what you love. I've got you knowing that these myths are myths and you have to look at them more carefully, right? And I've got you figuring out what you love, and I've got you figuring out what you really love, and I've even got you figuring out where to get the information you need to turn that into something you can actually do. I can show you how to take the stuff you love, invent a job description, and turn it into a profession, just with what you've learned so far. Who's going to let you do it? Who's going to stop you? No one can stop you. You do what you want. Do it small. Don't take any risks. Don't mortgage your house. Don't quit your job. There's nothing. Nobody can stop you. And now with the internet, you can reach everybody. But what's going to keep you going? What's going to make you say, day after, you know how they say about anything that you have to do, it's overwhelming, but you treat every big project like an elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It sounds good on paper, but that's not our nature. We think an elephant, that's so big, I have to get out of here, right? So what are we going to do about it? Well, that's what I'm going to tell you in the next segment, because in the next segment, I have a technique that's a whopper, and that one's going to bring it home. After that, there will be no place you can escape. You will know what you love, and you will do it. And you're going to send me a letter like I get all the time from people who say, oh my God, I'm doing what I love. I didn't believe it could happen, blah, 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 okay? So you want to hear about that thing? Yeah. Okay, I'll see you back here in just a little while.
Stay tuned. Barbara's going to show you how to keep the momentum in your dream machine. How can this public television station bring you this and all the other programs your family uses and enjoys throughout the year? One pledge at a time from individual viewers like you. Call now.
Now stay with us, because coming up next, Barbara Sher is going to reveal the true secret to success. But first, during this break, we want to invite you to do something that will ensure the success of this public television station, and at the same time give to you some tools that will help ensure that you can find your dream and actually pursue it. If you call now at this public television station and invest generously at the $365 level, which is really $1 a day for a year, look at what you get. You get all the tools you need to discover your dream and pursue it. And the hottest item in this set, I believe, are 2 tickets to the Barbara Sher workshop. Now, I've gone to one of these workshops, and they are what Barbara says, and I left knowing what my dream was with some concrete steps on how to pursue it.
This workshop is the most wonderful. Look, I run it. I'm not supposed to say this. I have to say this because I want everybody who's listening to come in. I know what this workshop is. I have done it. You know, I know what it is. I know what it's for. I know what I'm doing. I know what other workshops are like. I know they can be very nice, but you forget what you learned by the time you get to the car. This is going to change your life. I designed this, and I've done it for years, and I've got it perfect now. And it isn't flim-flam, and it's not about positive thinking, and it's not about changing yourself, and it's not about doing all those things humans cannot do. This is a whole different ballgame, and I never tell anybody what goes on in that workshop. I tell them what does not go on. There will be no group hugs. You will not cry and say I love you to strangers, and we will not sing Kumbaya, okay? This is for men and women. You can bring kids to it, you know, any kid 11 or over. I've had even younger. If you're 75 or 80 or 90 and you're watching this show, be there. That means your brain's wide awake and you care what happens to your brain. You cannot take your talent off this planet. It belongs with us, and we know how to release it. These things you're looking at, I designed these gifts specifically for this show. Each one of them does something completely different, and you cannot get them anywhere else. This is it. You get them here or you don't get them. So on that level, for the $250, what do you get there?
Well, this is what we call the Idea Party combo. It's got your idea book in this particular combination. It's also got your Discover Your Dream workbook and CD, plus a copy of the Idea Party VHS or DVD, depending on the format. And I understand that the VHS or DVD has additional material on it. Is that correct?
Oh, I'm glad you brought it up, because the last segment was about idea parties, and this whole show is called Idea Parties, and what's at the end of that video that nobody can see unless they pledge and get the package and get the video is 15 minutes of an idea party, an amazing one. We launched some dreams that were astonishing. We launched them at the idea party when we shot the show. So you can see what it is and you will be able to do it. The book will show you how to do it too. The book will give you exact instructions on how to run an idea party and 10 different ways to find people to come to your idea party in person, on the telephone, and on the internet. And the workbook is another whole ball game, but that workshop is something you don't ever want to miss. I'm not going to be doing them forever. I only do them for public television. You can't get to them anyplace else. If you care at all about what your life is going to add up to, if you ever wonder what you were put here for, you can trust me. I'm not going to mess with your mind. I care about it at least as much as you do. And that workshop is going to bring it home. I hope you'll come.
Absolutely. And I think the supporting materials, the workbook and the idea book, are really important because the myths that you talk about and the assumptions are so deeply ingrained that they sneak back up. I mean, mine have snuck back up on me. And to have those materials, it helps you get back into
Totally.
perspective.
People keep saying, they have the book, they keep saying, oh, you know, I always wanted I want a refuge for animals. I love animals, but it's impossible because I don't have the money. And these are people who saw the show, and I say, hey, you, look at page 5. Look at page 5. We can get you an area for your animals without a dime. Don't you understand? Don't believe that your dreams depend on money, that they depend on credentials, that they depend on... there are 9... That's what ideas are. We've got stories that will make your hair stand on end of people who have done the most exciting things, everything you want to do. Right? And they've done it without money, and they've done it without credentials. And these people are their own bosses, and they're working for themselves. And they're, yes, making enough money. Yes, enough money, and they're safe. So don't give up on those dreams. You know, I'm here to rescue your dreams. Your dreams are so valuable to you and to all of us. You can have a great life if you go after them, and I know how to show you how. So.
And a great starting point is that fabulous workshop. Let's get some more information about the location and date of the workshop. Support Iowa Public Television at the generous level of $365, and for just $1 a day, we'll say thank you with the Barbara Sher Idea Party combo. All the tools you need to discover your dream and pursue it, including 2 tickets to Barbara Sher's workshop Saturday, April 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. in Des Moines. I was among the hundreds of IPTV supporters at Barbara's workshop last summer, and I can tell you it is everything Barbara says it is. I did leave knowing what my dream is, and I had steps to pursue it. The great thing about this combination package is it provides the extra tools you'll need to actually act on what you learned at the workshop. Remember, April 17th, 1 to 4 p.m. in Des Moines, 2 tickets, part of this great combination thank you gift when you invest generously at Iowa Public Television. You already know you love IPTV. Pursue what you love. Being a member is an idea that really, really works.
I'm Todd Munt here, and we are spending a few minutes getting more ideas from Barbara Sher tonight. Are you getting some ideas? Are you thinking about ways in which you can apply them to your life and to your career and to change your life? Why not take a moment right now to invest in public television today to get a wonderful thank you gift in return and begin that process of changing your life? Barbara Sher has been here today talking about enhancing your life, finding new avenues and new pathways to success in life. And public television, year after year, has been in the business of informing, entertaining, enlightening, and enhancing your life. It reaches out to your children each and every day and provides them with the important information they need to get a start on life. It comes into your home all through the evening hours with important information. That service is here for you each and every day. It is free, but we remind you that a service like public television is worthy of your support, and a service like public television needs your support. Take a moment right now and pick up the telephone and call the number on your screen and invest in quality public television today. A quality investment that will come back to you all throughout the year, an investment that you'll feel good about, and it will be sort of your own life-enhancing moment, because this resource continues to grow and prosper, and when it does, we all prosper. Public television as a service depends on individual viewers joining and becoming a part of this mission. Our mission here at Public Broadcasting is to bring you programs that are hard-hitting, informative, entertaining, and sometimes, yes, even life-enhancing. We're pleased that you're watching today. We ask you to take a moment right now to call your public television station to say thank you and to invest in more great programs like the one we're watching right now. Terry?
Well, if you've been enjoying this program, you know that Barbara Sher is what I call her a barrier buster, because she really breaks down those mental barriers, those assumptions that keep all of us from pursuing what we really want to do, and that's something we're all attracted to. If this is an important experience to you, and if you value being able to find out new ways to improve your life here at this public television station, now is the time to let this station know that you want them to continue investing dollars in programs with people like Barbara Sher, and call the number you see on your screen and invest those dollars to make those wishes possible. Because if your dream is more programs that help you better your life, you can pursue it by investing right now and calling this public television station. And we can help you even further, because we'll say thanks to you with some remarkable gifts that Barbara has created. Really, they're tools that really enhance what we are learning on this program today from Barbara Sher. Here you see the combination thank you gift at the $365 level, which again,
buck a day.
it's
buck a day. You're going to lose it anyway. At the end of the year, you won't know where it went.
That's right.
You know, you will not. This will change your life.
And at the end of the year, you will feel differently about yourself and your life if you make this investment right now. And you also know that you're supporting your public television station. One of the items on here, you know, you see there are workbooks, there are books, there's a DVD and video cassette. But what's really significant about this level is you get 2 tickets to a Barbara Sher workshop, the opportunity to spend a few hours in a room with this woman and other people who want to pursue their dreams and find out how to do it. And it really is magical to spend time with her. You cling to every word, and it really is everything that you've said it is.
And that pair of tickets, I want to explain, it's like there's somebody you love, there's your mother, or there's your daughter, or there's somebody who you're dying to drag to this thing, and you know they won't come because you're telling them to come. So what you have to do is you have to say, look, please come with me. You know, I hate these things. They make you hug everybody. And you just come with me because I don't know how to get out the door. And they'll come to protect you. And once they're in the door, I got them, okay? And I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it.
And they won't want to leave.
They won't want to leave. If you think $365 is expensive, remember, that's a pair of tickets. That's a birthday present for somebody you love very much, you know, half of that. Or somebody can give you a birthday present. You know, that's 2 tickets. You can split everything. You can do the video with a group of friends. You can do that workbook course with a whole group of friends. You can teach a class in it, and you can have that book as your book club. I mean, you can gather a group together for these things. But that workshop has 2 tickets.
Absolutely, and it also, those dollars go to create hours and hours, hundreds of hours of programs on this public television station. Now, I want to tell you about the other thank you gift levels that we have as well, some other suggested giving levels. At the $250 membership level today, we have the Barbara Sher Idea Party Combo. Now, this includes the VHS of the program we're seeing, or DVD, also Barbara Sher's Idea Book, but it does include the Discover Your Dream workbook and CD. Now, this is brand new, isn't it, Barbara?
Yes, it is. It's in the $365 level, too. Of course, you get everything in that. You get all of this plus the 2 tickets. But that workbook is an amazing workbook. You do get that at the $250 level. That workbook is the best exercises I have ever done from all of my best-selling books, just the part that helps you figure out what you want. And there's an audio CD with 44 tracks, and I just take you by the hand and walk you through those worksheets. They're fun exercises, and they're very unusual, but it's hard to do exercises. So if you have the CD, you'll do them. And I guarantee you, you will know what you love by the time you're finished with that course.
And there are other levels of giving. At the $100 level, you could receive as a thank you gift a copy of today's program, either the VHS or DVD format. And as Barbara mentioned earlier, there is a 15-minute actual idea party in what you will receive that we're not watching here today. And then at the $75 level, it is Barbara Sher's Idea Book. Again, this is a brand new book, isn't it, Barbara?
Yes, it is. I wrote it exactly for this show. Every single element here, from the 2 tickets to the workshop, from the workbook course with the audio, that book, and this video are totally coordinated. None of them repeat each other. They're all designed to do the trick. I intend to get you this time. If there's anybody who's left over who hasn't found their dream and isn't going after it, remember, I don't care if you change yourself. I'm not interested in character building here. You know, I wrote the book called How to Get What You Really Want, even though you have no goals, no character, and you're often in a lousy mood. You understand? That's okay. That means you're my kind of people, because that's a real human being, okay? But your dreams are important. You don't just want to sit there and let your years go by and say, oh, this is impossible. It's not. You are so close. You can do what you love, and you need to do it. It'll make you happy. It'll make me happy, and it's the right thing to do.
And the right thing to do is try to go to a workshop with this woman. Let's get some more information about the dates and the times and places for the workshop. Support Iowa Public Television at the generous level of $365, and for just $1 a day, we'll say thank you with the Barbara Sher Idea Party Combo. All the tools you need to discover your dream and pursue it, including 2 tickets to Barbara Sher's workshop Saturday, April 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. in Des Moines. I was among the hundreds of IPTV supporters at Barbara's workshop last summer, and I can tell you it is everything Barbara says it is. I did leave knowing what my dream is, and I had steps to pursue it. The great thing about this combination package is it provides the extra tools you'll need to actually act on what you learn at the workshop. Remember, April 17th, 1 to 4 p.m. in Des Moines. 2 tickets, part of this great combination thank you gift when you invest generously at Iowa Public Television. You already know you love IPTV. Pursue what you love. Being a member is an idea that really, really works.
The workshop sounds exciting. It sounds like it's going to be a great unforgettable time, and it will be, Barbara Sher says, but the only way that you can get to the workshop is if you pick up the telephone and call your public television station right now. We're providing you with several minutes with Barbara Sher, not only in the lecture series and the workshops, but also right here in the studio. But the only way that you can bring her life-changing principles directly into your life in a very tangible way is to attend that workshop. And we encourage you to do that. We encourage you to pick up your telephone right now and call and support public television. You may consider one of the other levels of giving, and you can take advantage of some wonderful thank you gifts there too. But it all starts with your decision to become an investor and a partner with us. You might want to consider fulfilling your pledge by using an installment plan, and you can talk with your volunteer when you call him or her about the many ways that we can spread out your payment over the course of the coming year. Giving to public television is easy, but it all starts with you. It's a significant phone call and an investment that we're asking you to make right now to ensure more quality programs continue here on public television all throughout the year, to ensure that programs like Barbara Sher's continue to come to you here on public television without interruption. These programs are a service to you, but we remind you they only happen with your support. Call and talk with a volunteer right now and invest in quality television, public television, and we'll say thank you with one of many thank you gifts perhaps that we're able to offer you today. We may be able to send you the workshop if you're able to contribute at that level. You decide the level that works best for you, but by all means, pick up your telephone right now. Say thank you to public television for entertaining you, for informing you, for providing a context for the changes that are occurring all around us each and every day. Public television chronicles those changes and helps you understand and take charge of your world. Thanks for taking the time to call and support public television. Terry?
Thank you, Todd. Now, I want to remind you about the wonderful thank you gifts that Barbara has put together because she supports public television and wants you to support public television. And these are great tools that you can use to discover your dream and pursue it. If you give generously at the $365 level, which again is only $1 a day, you get all the tools you need that you see here, the workbook, the idea book, a copy of today's program, and most importantly, you get 2 tickets to the Barbara Sher workshop. And I am telling you that I saw people there discover their dreams and get concrete steps to pursue them. So it's really a wonderful experience. At the $250 level, we'd like to say thanks to you with Barbara Sher's Idea Party Combo. Now this includes Barbara Sher's Idea Book, a brand new book just for you, the Discover Your Dream Workbook and CD, and Barbara is on the CD telling you what to do step by step. It's kind of your own private workshop with Barbara, and also your own copy of today's program, either in VHS or DVD. At the $100 level, it's a copy of today's program, but remember, It has an additional 15 minutes of extra material, which is an actual idea party that you get to experience. It's only on the VHS and DVD when you pledge. You're not going to see that here today. And at the $75 level, it's Barbara Sher's brand new idea book. And from what we can tell of this program right now, it's all about being open to all kinds of ideas. And when I was at the workshop with you, Barbara, that is one thing that I noticed at the end when you were asking people for their special thing, and the ideas were just flowing. It was amazing.
Amazing, amazing. And you said this woman is heading for Florida to start a vet clinic. I know someone has written her own play and she's going to perform it, and that's because of the secret to success, which I'm going to teach you in the next segment. So don't go away, because now we're going to show you how to make it all work. Okay? Make it all work.
Thank you so much for supporting your public television station, and we'll be back to talk to you some more after this segment.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Okay, this is the home stretch. Now I'm going to sock it home, okay? Okay? They always say that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That's exhausting. And everybody knows you can start out with the best intentions, but what keeps you going? What keeps you going? Especially when you get scared. Right? And you're going to get scared. You're a normal human being. You get excited, you're going to get scared. It's something you got that I call, well, there's a number of ways to do it. It's an accountability setup. It's structure and support. Somebody said to me, you know, I'd like to be a writer, but I sabotage myself. I said, how do you sabotage yourself? Because I'll tell you something, very few people sabotage themselves. It's everybody's favorite slogan, but it doesn't happen often. She said, well, I should write, but I don't. I think about my stories, I don't sit down and write. I said, nobody does. Neither do I. The only time I write is when they gave me an advance and I've already spent it. You want to write? Take a class. You'll turn in an assignment every week. You want to go looking for a job, but you just can't get out of the house because it's so depressing because there are no jobs? Get a coach. They'll meet with you on the phone every week. Nothing beats having to show up. Years ago, I invented something called the Success Team, and I am just so proud of it. It's basically a group of about 5 or 6 people, and they get together usually once a week, and their only goal is to make sure that everybody in that group gets whatever they want. That's all. Whatever they want, not what they ought to want. Whatever they want, right? If they, like, want to marry for money, you say, okay, where's the people who have the money, and how can you marry them? That's their only problem. That's how they do it. When you get into a success team, what happens is you all love each other, and then everybody makes a promise. Okay, here's what I really would love to do. Here's the part I really like. Next week, okay, why don't you do this and that to give you ideas, like a little idea party. And then you say, okay, you make a promise. You say, next week, I'm going to bring in a chapter, or next week, I'm going to have talked to this person, or I'm going to have done this thing. And you walk out and you think, I'm not going to do that. And you get scared, but they know where you live because you were foolish, and you let them... You come back the next week, like say you said to somebody, I think I'd love to be in radio broadcast, like a TV. I'd like my own TV talk show. And they go, oh, I've got a cousin who works at the station on this big talk show, and here's his name, call him. And you walk out thinking, I'd rather blow my brains out than call him. He's going to say, who are you? It's going to be terrible. So you don't call, and you come into the next meeting, and everybody in the team, they want you to make it. Don't ask me why, it never fails. And they go, what happened? And they look all excited, and you say, you know, the pig caught the measles, and we had this flood and stuff, and this light goes out of their eyes. They don't even know it, and they feel like, oh, we can't make her do it. And you say, look, I really am sorry, and they cover for you. I mean, it's pathetic. They go, oh, no, it's not your fault with the pig and measles. Who can blame you? And next week, You call that cousin. You call that cousin even if you think you're going to get humiliated. You call that cousin, you go to that station, you check it over, you come back in because you cannot stand the way they look. And you walk in the next time and they'll go, hi, and you go, well, I went to the station, and they'll light up again like kids at Christmas. Every week, you will take a step you wouldn't have taken otherwise. Every week. Why? Shame. Guilt. You'll do it. You'll do it for them. Codependency. I don't give a damn, because they will get you someplace you could never get by yourself, because that's the way humans are. That's the way you're supposed to do it. And that's an accountability team. You can do it with a buddy. You can do it by yourself. Just a couple of final things I want to say. You get that team, right? Number one, you take your wildest dream very seriously. Number two, just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Do it anyway. You're not supposed to know how. Okay? Number three, I want you to understand that you have to do what you love, that you have to find out what you love with H levels, that you have to find out the part you're really crazy about, that you have to get together with a group of people to help you figure out how to do it. That is incredibly important. And that's everything. You do that, and then you get in a team, and they know where you live, and they won't let you get away. They'll drive you nuts. That's everything, from beginning to end, soup to nuts. You do what I told you today, and there is no way you won't find what you love, and there's no way you won't do it. And you're supposed to do it. There's an author named Ursula Le Guin, and she had the greatest quote. I can't remember it exactly, but she said, don't ask what is the meaning of life. Life is not an answer. It's a question. You're the answer. What you do with those gifts inside of you will determine whether life was a good experiment or not. So that's what I had to tell you today. That's why I wanted you to come. You got my message. You will find what you love. You are an original. It isn't easy to find it. You can use these tools. They'll work. You can't do it alone. You got to do it. And you need an accountability group or team or buddy system of some kind, or a class at the end. Okay? That's the whole thing. You can unlock the doors. And I want to tell you that I've been looking at your faces, and I know who you are. I mean, I know who you can be. More than you do. Because I've been doing this a long time. I know who I'm looking at. You get out there, and if you want to sing, you sing, and if you want to dance, you dance, and you find a way to do it and get all the help you need. Don't let me hear you didn't do that, because I'll track you down. Thank you.
We have a way for you to track Barbara Sher down. I'm Terry Shell. Barbara Sher here is with us in the studio, and this is an opportunity for you if you have been inspired by what you've heard, if you want to experience more of Barbara Sher's barrier-busting ideas and put them into action. Call this public television station right now and invest at the $365 level. Invest in great TV on this public television station, and let us provide to you as our way of saying thanks for just $1 a day. All the tools you'll need to put into action the things that Barbara has got us all excited about and wanting to do right now. We all want to discover our dream and pursue it. And what's really exciting is this is how you track Barbara Sher down, because in this combination package, we will send to you 2 tickets to a Barbara Sher workshop. And in that workshop, I met someone when I attended it who actually was changing her life as a result of the very teams that you talked about in this segment. She always wanted to be a veterinarian in Florida and specialize in cats, and that's exactly what she did. And then she also asked a question at the end of the workshop about she'd like to maybe do this on television. Well, I was there and I said, contact your local public television station because they'll provide a place for you.
That's great. But you said she's on her way to Florida now.
Yes, she is.
Right? Because of that team.
That's
because
right.
the real secret to success isn't positive thinking, isn't believing in yourself, isn't breathing deep. The real secret to success is getting a bunch of buddies or a class or a team to make sure you take every step. That's what human beings are like, and that's the way it's supposed to be done.
And that workshop really helps you get started on that. Now at the $250 level, it's what we're calling the Barbara Sher Idea Party Combo. And again, these are the tools you need if you want to pursue that dream. It includes the idea book, VHS or DVD copy of today's program, and something that I think is wonderful. It's the Discover Your Dream workbook and CD, and it's really kind of like having a private workshop with Barbara Sher, isn't it?
Yes, I walk you through every single step. They're exercises. People don't do exercise. My exercises are really good. And they're interesting because if they're painful lists of stuff, I wouldn't do them. So, but they're still, they get to the real stuff, and that's a little scary. So I hold your hand. I just am talking to you right through it, and people are doing it. They say it makes all the difference in the world. The idea book, incidentally, will tell you how to put together your own team. It'll give you 10 kinds of idea parties you can do, and it'll give you stories of people who have used every single thing we've mentioned today to find their dreams and go after them. And in a very exciting way. I mean, I wish I had the time to tell you the stories. I really do.
But you can relive some of those stories if you pledge at the $100 level, and you can watch today's program again, except the video cassette or DVD, whatever format you choose, will have an additional 15 minutes, a real live idea party on it, so you can see how that works.
And you can get together. There are people doing this. Get together with a group of friends, put that DVD or that video on, all of you sit and watch it, and when you're through after 15 minutes, you can have your own idea party. That will show you how to have an idea party, too. People are doing it. It's wonderful, all over the country.
Now at the $75 level, it's Barbara's new idea book. And really, one of the things I got out of this program is it's all about being open to ideas. And there are so many more than I can think of in my own narrow vision.
We think things aren't possible. Everybody says, well, I need to make extra money, but I just don't want to work in an office again. And then we start having this brainstorm, this form storm, right? And we say, well, if you don't want to work in an office, do you have a van? We know how you can. Here's what you can do, and take your kids with you and work in a van. Oh, you want to work outdoors? Yeah, but it's not possible. I don't have a degree. You don't need a degree. And we start showing you, in that book, we show you exactly how to find all those amazing things. We've got 20 things you can coach from your home on telephone and make a living. It's just wonderful. And we're not talking credentials. We're talking inspiration, talent, genius, you. That's what we're talking about.
And you can really get a great jump start on that by pledging at that $365 level and going to that workshop. Let's get some more information about times and locations for a Barbara Sher workshop. Support Iowa Public Television at the generous level of $365, and for just $1 a day, we'll say thank you with the Barbara Sher Idea Party Combo. All the tools you need to discover your dream and pursue it, including 2 tickets to Barbara Sher's workshop Saturday, April 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. in Des Moines. I was among the hundreds of IPTV supporters at Barbara's workshop last summer, and I can tell you it is everything Barbara says it is. I did leave knowing what my dream is, and I had steps to pursue it. The great thing about this combination package is it provides the extra tools you'll need to actually act on what you learn at the workshop. Remember, April 17th, 1 to 4 p.m. in Des Moines. 2 tickets, part of this great combination thank you gift when you invest generously at Iowa Public Television. You already know you love IPTV. Pursue what you love. Being a member is an idea that really, really works.
I'm Todd Munt. Have you been encouraged by what Barbara Sher has had to say today? Have you been encouraged and moved by what she has had to say and how it applies to your life? Well, let me encourage you to move to the telephone right now to call and support this public television station. This is an especially important time for us, and your dollars are important to the continued success of public television. This public television station brings you great programs all throughout the year. You value and appreciate those programs. You may view many of them, but we're asking you right now to invest in those programs. You might want to make an additional gift so that you can take advantage of one of the very special thank you gifts associated with today's Barbara Sher program. Take a moment right now at whatever amount, to call this public television station and to say thank you for bringing a program like this into your life. It takes just a moment to talk to the volunteers. He or she will help you through a very simple and easy process. You can use your credit card if you like. That may be the easiest way for you to become a member. You can choose an installment plan, and especially at higher levels, that's a nice way to spread out your gift over the course of the coming year, because you will appreciate and benefit from public television all throughout the year. You'll be able perhaps at some levels to take away a little bit of Barbara Sher with you, a book or a video that you can enjoy and use and benefit from. It's a little extra something that public television can offer you. But our biggest thank you to you is going to be quality programs that come to you all throughout the year. So now is the time to call. Not tomorrow, not the day after that, now. Now is the time to call this public television station to say how much you appreciate high-quality programs that entertain, inform, uplift the human spirit sometimes. Say thank you for that, and provide some of the dollars needed so that this public television station can buy and produce more programs just like it all throughout the coming year. Thanks for taking time to call. Terry?
Thank you so much, Todd. You know, one of the things I love about Barbara is that she really knows her audience. We can tell that when we listen to her talk. The same thing is true about this public television station. It really knows and understands its audience, and it's during breaks like this that we get to know you even better. If you enjoy what you're seeing right now, now is the time to call this public television station using the number you see on your screen and tell them that you want to see more of this kind of program, that you want to see more of Barbara Sher. Your dollars make it possible for us to fulfill your requests. It's so important, isn't it, Barbara?
Well, you know, first of all, it's very hard to get up off the couch and actually move. It's very scary. So you've got two choices. You can stand up, right? You can stay comfortably in your couch, and then when your opportunity passes, you're going to be depressed, but very safe. Or you can stand up, have the courage to stand up, pick up this finger boy and punch in that number. You're going to be nervous, and you're going to call in. This volunteer will explain everything to you, and you're going to be at my workshop. And the second you sit down, you are going to be excited. You're going to know you did the right thing. So you got a choice between depression and excitement. I suggest you bet on your own life. Invest in your own life. Invest in... The reason I want you to invest in public television is because it is your own life. This is the only place, number one, where someone like me is allowed to come on for a full hour and talk to you about what's good for your life, not what's good for a soap company. I'm not hustling anything. And the people here, I've been to every station in the country, you know, and I've met all the people who work for public television. And these people, they could be working somewhere else. You don't work in public television to get rich, my friend. You come here because you want your life to count for something. And when you go to bed at night, you want to feel that you've done something that matters. So these people are interested in only one thing: making sure that you get what you need for that gorgeous mind of yours. They respect your mind. So you take care of them, because that's like taking care of your garden or your body. It's yours. This is your station. I used to resent these pledge things. They say, get off and let me watch this show. And then I got it. If public television went away, what would I be left with? Nothing like what you saw tonight. And if you're watching, you belong here with us, and you know it. You're somebody who cares about whether you use your brain or not, and you don't want an unused life at the end of it all. You want one that you lived. You care about that, or you wouldn't be here. So put your money where your mind is, my friends. Call up, invest in the station, and invest in yourself. You'll get everything you need to turn your life around. That's my promise.
And not only from the programs, but also the outstanding thank you gifts. And I want to remind you about those right now. At the generous level of $365, again, that's just $1 a day.
Yeah, you keep saying generous. It costs you $300 to talk to me for 1 hour on the telephone. This is for thousands of dollars. I mean, it is generous, wonderful, but you're going to be generous to yourself when you do this.
Well, you get 2 tickets to the Barbara Sher workshop in addition to all of these tools, and I can't say enough about how invaluable that workshop is. I saw people's eyes light up, and they were moved, and the amazing discoveries, and also I saw a lot of men.
You know, that's what people... I got a couple of letters last week from somebody saying, this would work for men too, and I think, are you kidding? I get more men at my workshops than at any of these workshops, because it's not fluff. You know, like I say, we're not swaying. You know, we don't want the universe to deliver spiritual things that float in on butterfly wings. This is like down-to-earth stuff. I don't care what mood you're in. Nothing important ever depended on a mood. I don't care if you're high. No mood lasts as long as any project. We've got real stuff to do here. You need information. You need ideas. You need support. You need accountability. You need to know where to call people. You need to know what things are called. You need the book to read. You need the website to go to. You need details. That's the difference between failure and success. That and having an accountability team that will refuse to let you lose and carry you all the distance, the whole distance, to where you want to go. So don't build character, not interested in it. Don't care if you got any character. You come to the workshop if you think you don't know what your dream is or if you've got one you think is impossible. I'm going to show you different.
And Barbara, what people need now is to know where those workshops are, what date and what time. Let's find out about it. Support Iowa Public Television at the generous level of $365, and for just $1 a day, we'll say thank you with the Barbara Sher Idea Party Combo. All the tools you need to discover your dream and pursue it, including 2 tickets to Barbara Sher's workshop Saturday, April 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. in Des Moines. I was among the hundreds of IPTV supporters at Barbara's workshop last summer, and I can tell you it is everything Barbara says it is. I did leave knowing what my dream is, and I had steps to pursue it. The great thing about this combination package is it provides the extra tools you'll need to actually act on what you learn at the workshop. Remember, April 17th, 1 to 4 p.m. in Des Moines, 2 tickets, part of this great combination thank you gift when you invest generously at Iowa Public Television. You already know you love IPTV. Pursue what you love. Being a member is an idea that really, really works.
Have you called this public television station to express your support yet? Have you been sitting back and enjoying everything that you've been hearing and perhaps thinking about it, but you haven't done it? Let me encourage you here right now to take action to invest in quality public television service. If you think about it, Barbara Sher's message rotates around the idea of action. It's not merely being maybe dissatisfied with the point that you find your life in or having an idea but not moving forward. It's taking action, and that's the essence of what we're talking about here today. Taking action to ensure not only that you better your life through some of the many materials that we're able to offer you when you call and support public television, but to ensure that public television, this public television station, remains strong in order to provide you with more programs that encourage you, that entertain you, and that inform you and your family all throughout the day and the year. It's a simple call to a volunteer who can help you through a simple process, but it's a significant step. Thanks for taking time to call and support this public television station. Terry?
And what's wonderful about what you're learning today and hearing about and the great tools that we'll send you as thank you gifts is that Barbara has experiences all over the place showing how they work. You've got some great stories.
Oh, God. I just got back from Memphis, and the woman there reminded me of something. She said, do you remember what happened last time? I said, no, what? She said, don't you remember that woman who stood up as we were having our idea party at the end of the workshop? She said, the woman who stood up and said, I'd love to go on a cruise, but my daughter is sick, and anyway, she's being stalked by an ex-husband, and so I can't leave her alone. And somebody waved his hand. He had shorts on, and he ran up with a piece of paper in his hand. He said, I just got finished running for a marathon. I want a cruise, and I don't want to go on a cruise. You know, it was for the heart. And he gave her this piece of paper.
That is amazing.
So everybody cheered. She said, you are so nice, but how can I leave my daughter? She's ill. A woman stood up and said, I work for the city, and I've got to do pro bono taking care of somebody. I'm a nurse. I'll take care of your daughter. And she got tears in her eyes, and she said, but what can I do? I mean, this man is stalking my daughter. And this guy stood up and he said, what's his name? I'm a cop. And apparently she went on a cruise. I love when people put their hearts, you've got, you know, there's nothing you can't do with a head full of ideas and a room full of friends who want to see you make it. Nothing you can't do.
And you know, that's like pledging it at this public television station today, because you are with a whole group of people who all want to support having these kinds of experiences and opportunities.
This is a community here. This is not, yeah, this is a community. I mean, look, how much you guys getting paid? Huh? Yeah, like nothing. This is a community, and it's here because it wants beautiful, high quality that makes a difference to you. That's why she works. That's why all these people behind the scenes that you can't see are working so hard. That's for you. They want you to be everything you can be. And you can do it if you'll let them bring you great shows.
And you make that possible by calling now and pledging, and we thank you because we appreciate that investment so much today with an opportunity to spend some time in person with this woman, and the things that she talks about really do happen. I saw them when I went to a Barbara Sher workshop. Remember, when you pledge $1 a day, $365, you have an opportunity to get all the tools you need in addition to 2 tickets to a Barbara Sher workshop. And I remember hearing people across the room get up and say, I'd like to do this, and someone else would say, I can show you how.
This
It
woman
really
said,
does happen.
Oh, I want to work with apes, but I have no degree. A woman stood up and she said, every zoo in this country is looking for you. Those animals are bored. They need volunteers, and told her the telephone number to call.
I love that
Now,
story.
we make dreams come true, and people start using everything that's in them, and they start fulfilling themselves, not in floaty ways, not in ways that are going to disappear. They have good days, they have bad days. But one woman said, you know something? I love my life, even if I hate myself. She said, I love my life. Now, are you, do you want that? If you think you can't remember what you love, you're wrong. I'll show you how. If you think you can't have what you want, you're wrong. I'll show you how. All you need is to bust a couple of myths and give you a couple of ideas, and then give you an idea party, which will show you how to do, and then give you that support team. And there is nothing you can't have, nothing. And without any positive thinking, I'm so down to earth, boy, this is not fluff. I want you to have your dream because you owe it to the rest of us for the gift of life itself. I want you to be everything you can be, and you can do it because the station is going to help you, and I'm going to help you.
And all you have to do is call and pledge your support. You know, at the $250 level, it is the Idea Party combo. That includes the book, the video cassette of today's program with an additional 15 minutes, and this brand new fabulous Discover Your Dream workbook, and a CD with Barbara telling you what to do step by step. At the $100 level, it's your very own copy of today's show in either DVD or VHS format, and again, an additional 15 minutes, an actual idea party that you didn't see here today. You can only see it by calling and pledging right now. And at the $75 level, Barbara Sher's Idea book. And again,
you can't get anywhere else.
nope.
Not
And
in any
you wrote
bookstores.
it based on
Just for this.
experiences and feedback that came from your other programs.
From years of it. Yeah, this is exciting. We're showing you 20 things you can coach, how to have your own home business, how to be the magazine that'll help you go live in a millionaire's house in paradise, right? How to make extra cash for your dream. There's a group of women who have crafts, but how can you sell crafts? They figured out how to empty out one of their homes every quarter and redecorate it with all these Victorian crafts. They're making a fortune, okay? There are ways to do things, but not on your own. You need help, and that's what we're here for. That's what the station's here for. That's what I'm here for. That's what the workbook is here for, and the book, and the video, and that workshop. Two tickets to that workshop. Bring somebody you love. It's going to make a huge difference in their life.
And if you're wondering when, where the workshop is, let's find out some more about it. Support Iowa Public Television at the generous level of $365, and for just $1 a day, we'll say thank you with the Barbara Sher Idea Party combo. All the tools you need to discover your dream and pursue it, including 2 tickets to Barbara Sher's workshop Saturday, April 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. in Des Moines. I was among the hundreds of IPTV supporters at Barbara's workshop last summer, and I can tell you it is everything Barbara says it is. I did leave knowing what my dream is, and I had steps to pursue it. The great thing about this combination package is it provides the extra tools you'll need to actually act on what you learn at the workshop. Remember, April 17th, 1 to 4 p.m. in Des Moines. 2 tickets, part of this great combination thank you gift when you invest generously at Iowa Public Television. You already know you love IPTV. Pursue what you love. Being a member is an idea that really, really works.
Has this time with Barbara Sher lifted your spirits? Have you found it to be life-enhancing? I bet that you have, because you've been watching, and you have continued to watch, and that's probably the best signal of all today. Your decision to watch this public television station, to stay with us as we've talked about these important ideas and shared them back and forth, audience to Barbara Sher and now to you. We thank you for watching, but we encourage you right now to pick up the telephone and call and support this public television station. It's probably going to be easiest right now for you to grab that credit card right next to you, grab the phone, and call and become a member. It might be time for you to renew, or it might be time to make an additional investment so that you can take away some of these important tools that Barbara Sher has created for you. You'll have Barbara Sher with you all throughout the year, providing you with ideas and insights and even some encouragement to get some new change in your life, to bring about a new kind of perspective. It's what public television does all through the year, through news and information programs, through documentaries, and much more. Public television is here for you, but you need to support this public television station. Thanks for taking time to call. Terry?
Thank you, Todd. We're in the final moments now for you to call and pledge your support to this public television station and take advantage of these wonderful tools that Barbara has assembled for you. Let's take a look at them again one more time. At the $365 level, for just $1 a day, you have the opportunity to have all the tools you see here in addition to 2 tickets to a Barbara Sher workshop. Now at the $250 level, it's Barbara Sher's Idea Party Combo. That includes Barbara Sher's idea book, a video cassette or DVD of today's program, and the Discover Your Dream workbook and CD, which Barbara says when you work through it and she's talking to you on that CD, you will truly discover your dream. Now at the $100 level, it's a copy of today's program, Barbara Sher's Idea Party. You could have either a DVD or VHS